Hello, hello.
What's going on, Doug? Never works.
What's going on, Joe?
What the holy hell? All right.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well.
I, on the other hand, am not entirely sure what's going on over here.
How you doing, Joe?
Doing very well.
I try to record these, so we'll do that now. And unfortunately, Zoom has this waiting room, so I got to watch and see if any other people are coming. But Joe, you're new as of last week, huh?
Yep. Yeah, I was with a different brokerage for about 2 months before I came over to EXP.
Nice. And Nick is basically brand new. He just got his license and joined EXP not that long ago. He's still getting set up. Is that right, Nick? Where are you at?
I think I now have full access to every system. I was tweaking around with the KV core today, and then I just need to figure out. I have an MLS class tomorrow, and I think once I could kind of figure that out a little bit, hopefully, I could start working on generating leads and whatnot. So I guess I'm pretty much at that stage, going about how to
just figure out the MLS.
Yeah, and then I guess do more training to figure out how to generate leads other than that one strategy that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm not too sure.
Yep, I hear you. You got nothing but time and energy. It's just kind of where to concentrate that and
Exactly.
kind of go from there. Well, cool. Well, I didn't structure a lot today, and actually, I'm really glad I didn't because we have a group of 10 people now, and right now we only have 3 of us. Well, two people on the call. So the last time I was doing this listing agreement series for some people that have been in the mentorship for a few months. There we go. I thought you were having a bad hair day, but the hair looks really nice, man. I really thought,
Thanks, Doug.
So, and then it seemed like some of those agents didn't come to the last one, and then I was going too fast for the other ones. So, it's I'm still trying to figure it out, I guess is what I'm saying, and kind of who comes and who doesn't. I still want to find the best formula. I'm committed to this hour and a half every week for sure. Of course, I have time outside of this that I can help people out, but I do want to try to keep it structured so I'm not just running crazy, and we can provide some information for you guys. So what would be the best help? I know, Joe, you've been in the game for a couple of months here. You told me on the phone that you had a couple of buyers that you were working with currently. And Nick, I know you're ready to go. You're raring to go. You don't have another obstruction, another thing eating up your time. You're ready to hit the ground running. And I know that, and I feel that, but it's been kind of hurry up and wait up until this point. So, what should we talk about today? Do you want to talk about lead generation strategies? Do you want to talk about how to set up your business, or what would be helpful to you guys? I mean, I can tell real estate stories for 3 hours and more if you want to. One time, it goes like this, right? You get a bunch of one time I had a seller and she said this, and then I said, take down the wallpaper. And she said, what if they like the wallpaper? That was expensive in 1978, right? We can do this all day long, right? So that's no fun for you guys. Real estate stories.
For
Joe,
me, I'd probably say lead generation.
lead generation.
And
Now,
then maybe advice on the business setup, because
Mhm.
I've been told S corp or setting up a PA would be the best, and then so I elected to go the S corp route. But if that's something that you would recommend, maybe
can
going
elect-
to LLC or
yeah, it is an LLC with an S corp election, and you can elect the S corp at the end of the year, is my understanding.
is that like that form like 1288 or something you have to fill out?
I don't know. Anytime I ask my accountant a question, she goes way over my head. She like probably explains it like I do real estate and all that stuff. So I'm not really sure. The one thing I know that I think you can change some of this. But all right, let's just slow down for 1 second. Let's start with lead generation, but we'll get there. Joe, you mentioned to me on the phone, you said you didn't really like the idea of like the old way of lead generating, right? Door knocking, calling people, cold calling, and stuff like that.
Well, that's not entirely accurate, because the
Sure.
cold calling and all that, I don't mind at all. My background is a lot of call center before I moved into IT. So I actually don't have a problem with that whatsoever. What I don't like doing is I don't like the idea of going door knocking place to place. Now that said, I have done flyer drop on doors in the neighborhood that I was doing an open house in. So I have no problem doing that. I just don't like intruding on people's personal time, because I personally don't like it when somebody knocks on my door.
Yep. I gotcha. And the good thing about real estate is everything works, but you've got to work it, right? So, I believe going direct to the client is probably can create the most predictable outcome. It doesn't mean you have to door knock. But if you don't want to have any uncomfortable conversations, and I'm not saying you, I'm just
Right. No, I got you.
If you get in this business and you're saying, no, mostly I just want to put things on Facebook and have people contact me, call me, text me, right? So that's where it gets really tough, because maybe there's a way to do it. I don't know how to do that though. I would love to not make a single outbound call, but I don't think that exists. So no, that's good to hear. I've door knocked in the past. I've done different things like that, but as a practice in my day-to-day business, no. When you're door knocking, actually Nick and we talked about it one time. I think it was you and I, Nick. But it's like you're dealing with people's dogs. Yes, you're intruding, but you're getting face to face. So it's the most high quality conversation you can have. Because really, when you're on the phone, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get an appointment. When you go to somebody's door, if you talk to somebody,
You're
that's
already there.
an appointment, right? So they can see your face, they can learn to trust you and all that stuff. So I don't want to bash door knocking, because it may have its place. But I think it was Nick and I told him a story about my friend and I'm 6'2", 250 pounds. And so my friend used to say, he put on a pink shirt and try to make himself look like the biggest pussy when he goes door knocking, because he doesn't want to intimidate people, because it's intimidating having a grown ass man show up at your door, right? Rapping on your door. So again, everything has its place. It doesn't mean you have to door knock, but get this. How about this story? There's a woman who she actually lives kind of near where I live, and she farms this community called River Hills. Okay. And so she works with sellers in there. And so anytime she takes a new listing, she knocks on the doors of the two people on the right side, two people on the left side, and two people across the street from the house. So she talks to 6 people every time she takes a listing. Every time she goes and shows a buyer to another property in there, she gets there a half an hour early and she knocks on those 6 doors again. So it's not door knocking in the sense that we're going to put on our tennis shoes and we're going to go and for hours knock on doors. Right. She made a habit out of hitting 6 doors every time she's at a new appointment, a new house. Right. And so it's something she's comfortable enough with, and she has a total reason. Hey, my name's Doug. I'm showing your neighbor's house right here. I just thought I'd get here early. I would really, really love to sell this house and find you a great neighbor. Is there anything I should know about this street in particular? I know River Hills really well, but how about this street? Well, they're new and they're this and they're just gonna start talking, or they're not, or they're, so just these little strategies. So Joe says, I hate door knocking. Doug says, whoa, I hate, wait a minute. Let's just put it in its own place, give it its right amount of attention. And if you want to use that in your business, great. I don't, but ideas, right? Implement something, do something at a high level, and it'll come through. So that's what I'd say about door knocking. As far as calls, just so you know, my background, I started in real estate in 2012. That was in North Carolina, and I struggled for my first 15 months or something like that. Then we found out we were going to have our first child, and we are going to end up moving back to Florida. So in January of 2014, I went to he's now my EXP mentor. His name's AJ. And AJ and I had gone through training at the same time, and he had all these listings and I didn't. And I was like, AJ, what are you doing that I'm not? Because I'm just working at a gym. I'm working at Gold's Gym, and I show up for training, but I don't really have a business to speak of. And now I got to move to Florida, and I don't have a business in Florida either. So I'm gonna have to go get a job in Florida. That's gonna suck, right? I'm gonna have to go work at a hotel, right? Hotel management. That's where I came from. So he taught me, and we worked together on calling for sale by owners and expireds, and then success, and then you sell a little bit, and then that was a transferable skill when I moved to Florida. So I transferred that skill. Quick story. I just closed on a house this summer, and I moved in July of 2014. This home was in my database because it expired in May of 2014. Okay. So I had actually switched my data plan when I was still sitting in North Carolina, and I started calling all the expireds in Florida, filling up my database. And I just sold one 6 years later, six years later, because that's how I follow up. I mail the people, I call them, I remind them, I wait till they're ready. Sometimes they don't want to talk to me, but I warm them up. And then they called me this spring, 6 years after they expired, and they said, hey, why don't you come over? We've been getting your postcards for the last few years. So nice. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I did it. I don't mind making phone calls. It's not the bulk of my business anymore. But I'll close a few expireds every year now. So that's kind of who I am. And then I've done all sorts of different things and all that stuff. So yeah, the question I had kind of posed to the group a couple of weeks ago, it's the phrase that's on the top of the the workplace page. Where is your database, and how are you feeding it daily? Because I think one of the things that realtors, you're in the lead generation business every single day. That's your job. Now, I know we got to learn about contracts, and we got to learn about inspections. We got to learn about all this other stuff. That stuff's easy. You and Doug can get there. We can close a property. But if you have 0 clients and you don't have a system or the confidence to go out there and have conversations, that you're not going to have the problem of, I don't know what to say during an inspection, because you're not going to have an inspection to go to. Okay. So you got to solve your lead generation problem. I'm going to hammer it, because you can't have too much. And most realtors underestimate the volume, the number of actual contacts that you're going to need to close properties, to close, say, 20 sales in a year, right? You're going to need hundreds of thousands or whatever. Doesn't have to be thousands, but you've got to, imagine a big funnel, and you got to put a lot in the top and then keep working them and massaging them until they're right here, and you're going to meet them at a property. get them with a lender or sit down at their kitchen table and talk about why you're the best guy to sell their property. So that's really what it is. And then there's just a lot of different ways to do it. So so let's hear from you guys. What do you want? Let's stay on lead generation. Okay. What do you guys want your business to look like? Just put like a picture out there, a dream. Joe, why don't you start, if you would, please?
For me, ideally, I would say I want to close. I mean, I want to be able to close about 20 transactions a year. Let's say more would be nice. But that's just basically where I'm at. The lead generation portion has obviously been my biggest problem. That's part of what I'm working on with Ed, who's my mentor, is the lead generation part. And I know that for Nick, a mistake I've been making up to this point is I've been not focused enough. Honestly, because I took the statement of lots of leads and try and work all of it and all of that to heart and attacked. Well, there's 1.4 million people in this county, and I attacked a very, very large area as opposed to getting smart and looking really small in the beginning and just my neighborhood right here. And that's where I'm paring it all back, and I'm going to focus in here to at least get things rolling for a little while.
What are you doing specifically now that you have this focus?
So I contacted our HOA, and they do. So because we're not having live HOA meetings, so I can't really get involved there. What I did find out is who the lady is in the neighborhood that manages all of the they do food trucks at our pool down here. So I found out who managed that, and I can go down there. I've got myself listed on the monthly newsletter that goes out now. I'm going to use because I like to do video, so I'm going to use BombBomb. I've got the email addresses of the whole neighborhood. I've emailed a couple of times. I've gotten very limited interaction with that. We're going to try doing it by video this time and just flat introduce myself as who I am. I found the Facebook group for the neighborhood, and I've gotten involved in that. I do advertise on Nextdoor, which has been really, really good. Nick, I should look into that. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's been awesome. Because Nextdoor only allows,
that's what happens when you go door knocking. Face door.
Wham! That's the thing about being a 6 foot tall, 200 pound, heavily tattooed guy is they go, ooh, I don't want to talk to you. But Nextdoor is awesome because they only allow a certain number of realtors per zip code. And so it is $80 a month, but if I'm one of 3. And that's it. So can
I ask you a question about that? I'm curious. Isn't Nextdoor just a poor replacement for community Facebook pages? I don't understand why you would go to Nextdoor instead of just going on your community Facebook page.
And it costs money.
It does cost money. It does cost money. Because the old people use it. So there's certain areas that we can't get into. Valencia Lakes, for instance, which those houses go between $400,000 and $1 million. We can't get in there because I don't know how old you are, but you don't look 55 yet. So you can't even get on their Facebook. You can't nothing. They do not let you advertise, none of that. I, on the other hand, have talked to about 10 different people out of Valencia Lakes, answering all kinds of questions about ROI. I went down with a lady. Hopefully this turns into a listing eventually. I went down, we walked through her house, and she wanted to know the best way to prepare it for, sale, because she doesn't want her kids to have to do it. And so I went down, we walked through it, that type of.
And that lead came from Nextdoor?
Yep. All comes from Nextdoor.
Okay. Good answer. I like that answer. That's good. Okay. I understand it a little bit better. Very nice. Okay. Keep going. Sorry. I mean to interrupt you.
You're good. I mean, that was Nextdoor was really the end of it, but I was attacking this neighborhood and that one over there, and Panther Trace up here, and I was trying to work everywhere instead of just looking at my 700 house neighborhood initially.
So a couple things. We can talk about your BombBomb or your email. If you would, I don't know if I have to invite you, but join Ricky Carruth's 0 to Diamond.
Yep, I'm familiar. I'm on it.
You're on it. So are you able to put out a value-based email to people on a weekly basis? Have you seen the examples of those emails that his followers are doing?
I don't know that I've seen those.
Okay, check out that page. People post examples all the time. They're pretty good. Did you get an email from me last week?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of my attempt. I am less consistent with it, and I'm sure it needs some work, but done's better than perfect. So I'm just doing it, kind of just having fun writing. I try to put some images in there and some links, and it's been pretty good. So so yeah, I would check that out, because you cannot affect when people have a real estate need, right? And even the video you did was really good about price, but getting people to move off the fence is really, 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 really hard. We can have the most convincing argument in the world, right? But until they're ready, it's really, really hard. So I'm not saying don't do that content. I'm just saying, if you think you're going to turn somebody from a not seller into a seller, or a not buyer into a buyer, it's almost impossible. Now, the video is good because you're constantly in people's memory and all that stuff. So that's not what I'm saying. But what you want to be is, you want to be the guy that's available to them when their motivation, matches kind of their needs. So that's really what you want to do.
So I have another video coming out today, which actually has nothing to do whatsoever with trying to convert people into buying. It's on the biweekly myth, or biweekly payment myth, and so it's a different direction. The whole point is kind of like your email is just simply having something real estate related weekly.
Yeah, I actually liked that you talked about buying a new house, but you also talked about refinancing, right? How does refinancing help you at all? It doesn't, right? It doesn't. But at least I know that maybe you introduce them to your lender and all that stuff, but it doesn't really help you at all. So you're being Helpy McHelperson, and that's really what you want people, because they will have a need. It's just we can't create it most of the time. So yeah. And that's, at my old brokerage, they used to teach us this stuff. Like, have you called your database and told them the interest rates will never be lower, and look at this, and all that stuff. And I don't mind that graphic, but it's just like, you can't hit people in the hammer with this stuff. Like, they just have to be ready, and you just have to be there. So
Do you post those videos to Nextdoor, or where are those videos going?
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So actually, let's back up. YouTube, Facebook, and then Instagram and TikTok are a shorter video, because Instagram and TikTok have to be less than 60 seconds. Whereas the Facebook algorithm, on the other hand, what's the last one? There's one I'm missing here. Okay, so Facebook, LinkedIn is the last one. So the Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube algorithms, the videos have to be more than 3 minutes, otherwise nobody sees it. But then your Instagram and your TikTok have to be less than 60 seconds, or they won't take them. So what I did this week, which was different than previous weeks, is yesterday I released a short 60-second video telling people what I'm going to talk about today without actually telling them what I'm doing. And then today's video is 5.5 minutes talking about biweekly and how to pay the banks less money, essentially.
Okay.
Nice.
And does it give you like the info of how many people see it, and
Mhm.
does that generate back to a website, or?
It does. It all comes back to, actually, when you do it on Facebook, yes, I can. So, give me 1 second. I'll show you. Need to move a couple of things around. Facebook. So when you do, move you off here, this thing will freak out. If I share the screen, it's on. So share screen. Oh, you'll have to enable screen sharing.
Try that.
There we go. Yep, I did it. Okay, so share. So this is last week's video here. I reached 945 people. I did have a link directly to my website in there. 8 people did click the website, although they didn't do a whole lot. And then 81 people either watched it a second time or interacted with it in some way, shape, or form, paused it, started it again, did whatever. And it'll tell you this every single time. Like here, 12 people saw my change in my thing. Great. 19 saw that one. Here's a previous video. People did 100 or 144 people saw it. 21 people engaged in it. 1 person actually liked it. So yeah, I say Facebook, as long as you have an actual real estate page, will tell you how many people are seeing what you're doing.
Very cool. And that's,
Yeah.
There's benefits of using a business page, and that goes to statistics, paid advertising, things like that.
Mhm.
And then there's benefits to putting everything on your profile. I mean, you kind of got to do both, right? You want your
linked
friend.
a lot of the time, right? A business and your personal Facebook are linked.
No,
No.
no, mine's not linked at all. In order for people on my personal page to see what I did on my professional page, I have to share it. Now,
Sure.
what I've discovered is if I share things off of my professional page to my personal page, nobody sees it because the Facebook algorithm doesn't show it to everybody. So what you have to do is essentially post it twice. So it has to be 2 separate sessions. You can't just click over. So you can't just go from your professional profile to your personal profile and then share it again. You have to log out of Facebook, log back into your personal one, and then post the video. And then that way it'll treat it like a regular video and show it to everybody.
Interesting.
I didn't understand that. So you're saying you post the same content, or because that's what I do. I share the content on my business page with my personal profile.
Mm-hmm. But if you notice, the one on your personal profile doesn't get nearly as much interaction as the one on your business page. And it's because the Facebook algorithm is aware that it's the same thing as you posted on your professional page. And so they're not showing it to all of your friends.
Oh, gotcha. But our, I'll call them our database between my wife and myself, our database on our personal pages far exceeds our business, likes and engagement and all that stuff. I mean, people want to know about us and our kids and all that stuff. And then we mix in work. So, okay. Interesting. So, okay, cool. Well, very cool. I like that you kind of have some of this stuff figured out. This is, you seem like you got some techie stuff that you do. And, I really like that. Like I said before, me and my wife have talked about doing video more and more. And that's what we do is we talk about it, right?
Right.
You're doing it, even though, you're not, you don't got a million real estate sales, but here you are with your arm tattoo and your cool little man cave, and we can see your personality. And that's what people want to see. They want to see who they're doing business with. You don't have to be the most, polished up in a suit and all that stuff. They want to do business with people like them, and they probably have tattoos as well. So I love it, and keep it up, and keep making it a little bit better and all that stuff. I think you could slow down your diction a little bit when you're talking.
Okay.
You seem to have a fairly well thought out plan, but you kind of you went kind of quick. You didn't ask my opinion, but I'm going to share it with you.
No, I appreciate it. Absolutely.
And then the only other thing I would say that I think works is like when you were talking about like the loan stuff, first tell people what you're going to tell them and then tell them. So like you just kind of went like really quickly through it, but you say, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why this year would, why if you don't refinance or buy a house this year, you're burning $100 bills. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why if you don't buy a house this year, you're burning $100 bills in your backyard.
Okay.
And then tell a short story and then give them the 3 reasons. All right, the first reason. So people like numbers, they like to know when the end of something is, and they like to know, all that stuff. So if you use those numbers, 1, 2, 3, and that's the third one, you're always bringing it back, and it's these audible cues for people to tune into those things. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good stuff. Cool. All right. So you want to sell 20 homes in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Well, buyers or sellers. I just want to close 20
Doesn't matter.
transactions.
Yeah. Sell.
Yeah.
Synonymous. Okay. So you've got 2 buyers that are committed to using you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we hope they close before 2021, right?
Ideally.
Hopefully, right? So you still need about 20 transactions for next year, right?
Yep.
How many of those do you believe will come out of your neighborhood efforts with next door, email blasts, involvement, door knocking, whatever? How many of those 20 come right out of a half a mile radius from where you're sitting?
Probably 10 of them.
You think 10?
Probably.
That would be awesome. All right, cool. So now you need to figure out the other 10, right? You got to figure out the other 10. Referrals, paid advertising, whatever else there is, the videos, all that stuff. So just that's all I'm saying is like keep working on your numbers and massaging that and knowing, like if you get to March and you've allocated 10 from your neighborhood, but you have 0, like you need to step up in other areas because it hasn't come through yet.
That makes sense.
But if you get to March and you've done 4 from your neighborhood and you can see it coming, maybe you move that to 12 and you double down, right? So do what works and all that good stuff. So cool. Very nice. All right. Nick, what are you thinking, man? What we talked about 20 for you as well, didn't we?
That's the goal. I'd like to be doing 2 to 3 monthly, and then obviously try and scale up from there. But I need to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start.
I'm trying to figure out what strategy I want to use. Like currently, right now, I'm living in an apartment, so I don't know how much this is legal. I'd have to talk to my wife. Like finding out which people aren't renewing here, and then maybe mailing something to them, like so they could see, like I'm a realtor or whatnot. In our mail room, like where the boxes are, there's a big bulletin board, and I've seen a lot of people that have different like dog walking stuff, and they have like the little slips where it has like a name and number, and most of them have someone taking stuff on it, so it looks like people are actually reading those. So maybe posting something on there, like I said, finding the people that aren't renewing. That's kind of where I'm at, other than the expireds and doing the calling and whatnot.
Okay.
Which I need to figure out how to do that. I know we talked about that a little bit, and
right,
and how to use all the technology that is being provided and accurately use it, and trying to focus in on something, because I can't just, like he was saying, the greater Tampa area is huge.
Yeah.
And
you don't need all. You don't need all of them, right? You just need, but 20 is a good number, right? So, what I would say is if you're going to work apartment buildings, like you just the first thing you have to do is decide. That's the first thing you have to do.
Well, that was just an idea that just popped in my head when he was talking about the next door thing.
It's all good. It's all good. But let's just talk about what that looks like, right? So the first thing you would have to do is decide, I want to work my apartment building or similar apartment buildings. And then if you put up a flyer and you get a phone call, that would be a huge win, because it costs you 3 cents to print that thing out. And what I'm saying is you might need to be a little bit more strategic than that, right?
Yeah.
Is instead of saying, call me to buy a house, it's you get a lender, you get Todd or somebody like Todd, and you get Michael Holmes from Delta Credit Repair and something else, and you see if you can use your community room there in your apartment building, and you say, you know, hey, we're gonna have a little first-time home buyer seminar, and we're gonna offer, you know, some credit repair, and you can talk with a lender and a realtor. I'm trying to think of if there's a third leg to this. What would
Yeah,
be
see if you qualify. And then like the credit people that have issues with credit, someone to steer them to help them fix that. And then, so not necessarily only selling yourself, giving them pretty much one seminar that gives them, you know what,
Right.
this is what I need to do to buy a house.
Yeah, it's value add. And the truth is they're not even at a point probably right now where they want to talk to a lender, but you're going to have a lender there so that all the myths about buying a house, like you need 20% down and all this other stuff. So Todd can speak, you know, intelligently about, you know, what programs are offered, and just act as a partner. So I would just think of it, how are you going to get people there? Value add, and then it's about getting those contacts, finding out when their lease is up, and it's all going to come down to money for them. So, you know, a lot of times, some of the things that work out really well for first-time home buyers are new home communities, because they have built-in paid closing costs. Those are pretty good. They're used to working straight to payment, right? You're paying $13.50 a month at the apartment building. We can get you in a home and start building equity for $15.50 a month. They'll go straight to payment, which you know, apartment building, a lot of times that's what they're kind of used to. Their paychecks are pretty regular and all that stuff. So that's all I'm saying is you know, just see what you have, and then see what you can offer, and just try to be visible. And here's one thing, another thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm talking to my young self when I say this, Nick. It's not about you putting your face on a flyer and going in the lobby. Just, and when I'm telling you guys these things, I know this wasn't your total flushed out idea, and Doug's killing it, right? So here's what it is. You put your flyer in the lobby, then you volunteer for, you know, community cleanup day, and then you get the Turkey Bowl football game going, sponsored by Nick McKeon at eXp Realty, and you give away a little trophy or little medals to, like, you have to, it's not just Nick on a piece of paper. It's the guy that always asks me how I'm doing when I'm getting the mail. And then I feel comfortable enough approaching him. So you really have to be a part of your community, and you have to be engaging, and you have to be offering people something. And that's how you build relationships. People in this business, they really do it on relationships. And it was a mistake that I made early on, you know, because it's hard to think of yourself as a realtor and put yourself out there and all that stuff. And I wasn't really that engaging of a person. And I still kind of like to stay to myself sometimes, but that's really what it is it's like, you got to be a member of your community, And first you give, and then you can probably receive. So just some thoughts there. So
Yeah, I know all the Gray Stars were my wife works for, and I know all of their properties are all considered A and B class. So they all have nice like business centers and all that stuff. And they rent those out for fairly cheap. And they are really good about putting out monthly newsletters and stuff like that. And I know you're allowed to advertise certain or specific things on there. I don't know as an apartment community how keen they would be on you advertising to buy a house to get them out of there. But I
Right.
don't know. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. But
right.
I guess that could be a strategy that I could go for. I don't know how. I know the relationship is good, but if I'm running a seminar of how to buy a house and why you should do that, but I'm saying that in a community because I'm in an apartment right now.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to listen to the guy, and I don't want to lie and say like, even though I live here, this is a good thing. But so I don't know, maybe finding a different community maybe to start, but
Yeah.
then that type of thing. But that was just an idea. I didn't think it all the way through. But
Yeah.
what you were saying what you were saying more makes sense instead of just giving them numbers, having or making like an actual presentation. And
yeah, and this is my point. Like you get people who call you, when you're in the business, like people want me to sponsor their golf cards, right? You advertise on the shopping carts at Publix and stuff like that, right? And again, everything works, but in marketing, I believe more than anything, it has to be multi-channeled. Okay, so if I was going to advertise on a golf scorecard, it's because I'm a member there. I go to the driving range. My kids take lessons. I'm on the scorecard. I know all the guys in the clubhouse by name, and I play in the men's group on Thursday afternoon. And then the marketing and the relationships work hand in hand. Okay, marketing, relationships. Then I know I'm not just dumping my money. Because I think what we believe is, I'm just going to spend this $500. I'll be on their scorecard for the whole season. People, they're just going to be playing golf. They're probably going to call me, right? And that's not really how it works, right? It has to be multi-channeled. So at my kids' school, my kids are distance learning this year, but my wife was on the PTA. We did a banner in front of the school. We sponsored the PTA. We sent flyers home. We attended all the events, and now we're building relationships inside the school in our community where we live. So that's good. That's money well spent, right? That's money well spent for us. So same. I see all these posts. On Facebook about people that they wrap their car. Have you guys seen any of those?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Like a full wrap on their car, right?
Tailgate of my truck is wrapped.
Is it?
It is.
Is it a line right?
Luckily I know the guy that wrapped it. He's going to fix it for me. But yeah,
cool. Nice. I'm not about to say anything bad about wrapping your car. It's a moving billboard. I've been thinking about doing it. Okay, so the objections on Facebook that I read are like, who's going to call you at a red light, blah, 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 blah. That's not what it is. It's a moving billboard for your farm area, okay? It's for, nice. It's a moving billboard for your farm area. So Joe's going to park his truck in the garage, but leave his door open on Saturday when everybody's out doing their yards, just so they remember. And then Joe's going to get his open house signs. They're gonna be in the similar color scheme, writing and graphics as the tailgate, so that when he does open houses, it's kind of like flyering all the doors in the neighborhood, because now they've seen his tailgate, they've seen a Facebook ad, and now they've seen his open houses. All this multi-channel stuff is how you do it, right? That's marketing for you. So there is a strategic way to do some of that stuff, but it's always multi-channeled, and I'd encourage you to do it. But hold every single dollar accountable that you're pouring into marketing, because most of us have made a lot of money, not just made a lot of mistakes dumping money into stuff. So anyway, so yeah, cool.
Yeah, and the wrapping is very expensive if you don't know the person doing it.
Really?
So to wrap just a tailgate like that would have been $350.
That's not bad.
Too bad. I saw the magnets on the marketplace, but I don't know about any of that.
Just some people don't want to be singled out while they're driving. Whatever. It's just all about you and what you want to do. And like I said, the magnets are cool because you can take them off at least,
Yeah.
but they don't look as good because a wrap looks super nice and professional,
Yeah. And that's bright as I'll get out. I took that picture at 9 o'clock at night. You can see it from, like, if I park it in front of the house on the street, you can go to the far end of the road, and you can't read it, but you can tell that there's something there.
right.
Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah.
I'm on the setting where whoever's talking is the only person you see. Let's change it back. Oh, wow. And that's $350?
Yeah.
I don't think that's that bad.
I don't think it was bad either. I think to wrap your entire vehicle might be what, like $3,000?
Yeah, about that. I'll say my buddy Justin that does these, he actually does like most of the Bucks players, and you guys aren't gonna be able to tell, but I'll tell you what it is. You see the cars in the garage. I took that the morning he did my truck. The first one is a Porsche GT1. The second one is an Acura NSX. The third one's an Aston Martin, and the last one's an H2. That's what was in his garage to be wrapped that morning.
Those are getting wrapped?
Yeah, those were being wrapped that morning.
They're owned by businesses?
Or just like a color wrap?
It depends. So here, let's do this. Let's do this the easy way here. Send. Give me your cell numbers.
813 767 6386.
6386. And Nick?
916 879
879
1643.
1643. So when you look at it, if you zoom in on the Aston Martin was a business. The brand new NSX is owned by somebody from the Bucks, and the other two, I don't know who owns those.
Cool.
I would not be wrapping an Aston Martin in a business wrap.
That's what I'm saying.
It's pretty badass wrap, but yes, I agree. My being a car guy, I was looking at it going, really? All right.
Hey, but I mean, the only, if it's marketing, might be a way to write off something. I don't know. Talk to your accountant, right?
It's a hell of a write-off.
Yeah. That's cool. That's very cool. So
That accurate.
Nick, one of the things, if you're gonna start calling people, I know for me, one of the biggest hurdles is not just saying the script, but knowing that if I have success while I'm on the phone, if I get immediate success and somebody actually invites me to their house, that like I feel a desire, like I see an opening to close them and I can close them, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just learning how to call, it's being, confident enough that you can walk in and at least, put together a decent presentation and, build a relationship with them and hopefully get a listing. So it's a tall order, but it's something that you're probably going to have to work on almost a daily basis, whether it's role playing with other people or, just continuing to practice on your cat, like the listing appointment or whatever it is. But getting comfortable and refining that just so you feel confident in getting in there. I know that, you know, that was it for me, you know, so.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I have a hard stop at 2 o'clock. I've got a meeting with Tech Data that I have to attend.
Okay. Very cool. Very good. I don't know. I guess today was a tough day for everybody, but it seems like we have different people every week. It's all good. Joe, I really like what you're doing with video and technology, and it seems like you jumped into being a realtor with 2 feet. Like you've got no doubts, you're willing to spend money and put it on your car and all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty evident. So, you know, done is better than perfect. Keep doing it, keep getting better. And you know, hey, oh, one thing I was going to mention, we got to get on the phone with your coach, and it needs to be this week.
Okay.
I'm
He does those meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday typically, and then I set up next Monday to meet with him anyway, because we meet on Mondays. If you're okay with Monday,
I can't do Monday.
okay.
I'm having a baby.
Oh,
That's kind of
congratulations!
I'm not having the baby.
I mean, no judgment.
I wasn't assuming.
He's gonna be a soccer player. My wife's having a baby.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not counting next week. I set it up with the inspection company with Dusty. But if you can get me on the phone, I don't know if you can do something this week.
Sure.
That would be great. Or it'll have to be probably the week after. So
Okay. Let me talk to Ed, and I'm sure you won't have a problem with it.
okay. Cool. Very good. Well, nice. Well, what do you guys want to work on? Joe, is there anything specific you want to work on in the future?
Yeah, so I was using Loop with Align Right, and I know that it's transaction desk now, or at least in theory, it's for doing forms and all that stuff. What are you using?
I use Zip Forms Plus.
Okay.
Other people use Transaction Desk or Form Simplicity. Both of them link to the MLS, I believe. There's one of them puts the EXP logo at the top. It looks super cool, but I don't know. I use Zip Forms Plus. It works for me. None of them link to SkySlope. You have to just put them all into a PDF and drop them in there. Zip Forms Plus used to link to SkySlope, but it doesn't anymore. So I use SkySlope. SkySlope and DigiSign are connected. So I use DigiSign for everything. That means I build my forms in Zip Forms Plus. I save it as a PDF. I move it into SkySlope, and I use DigiSign to get signatures.
Okay.
That's 3 systems. SkySlope, of course, is the transaction management that EXP needs you to use, but that's essentially 3 systems working together.
Gotcha.
Now, you could do all your forms and signing on a totally different platform, digital signatures, and then move things into SkySlope just for broker approvals and stuff like that. You can do it that way, but I don't care what you use, doesn't matter. But Loop was cool, but Loop's owned by Zillow, so you know, giving them all your data and all your client's address and when they bought their house, which I guess they can see on public record anyway. But anyway.
Yeah, I actually didn't use Align Right's CRM because they had access to it on the backside. You can see everything I did, and I wasn't a big fan of that. Speaking of which, Nick, let me tell you as somebody, okay. So Nick, this is what I do for a living right now. It turns around. You see all the computer equipment here.
Oh, wow.
I work for an IT distributor, and I do more of a project manager kind of thing. I will tell you, protect your data at all costs, because especially doing this, not to say that you'll ever leave EXP, but if you ever decide to, make sure that you can take all of your customer base and your data with you. Keep it backed up on your side, always. Because I've run into more things with getting data between corporations and moving stuff around than I care to even speak of in the last couple of years. So make sure that what's yours is yours.
Great. I'm not the most tech savvy person. I have a VPN though.
That's something.
Nice. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I guess with KV Core, almost all these systems. So are you talking about like with KV Core, I know I could turn everything into a spreadsheet and move it over to another system if I want to, right?
Yes.
I don't know if EXP can see what's in KV Core or if inside real estate or whatever. No.
No, because they're separate companies. So AlignRight, the way that they have theirs set up is they have a CRM that they had us using that they retain admin of on the backside. So what happened was as soon as I left AlignRight, I got a notification in my email that all of my contacts had been reassigned and who they were assigned to. I was going, it's like, I didn't agree to that, but okay. So, you know, now they have all of my contacts.
Yeah. That's a little dicey.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen to me when I left, but I didn't really use Keller Williams systems when I was there. So I have most of my stuff independent. So, but either use what they got and it's free or you got to pay for it. Right. So,
yep. Pretty much. Right.
You got to go. So
I do. So, all right, gentlemen, it was good to meet you.
Yep. Nice meeting you too.
Yep.
Have a good afternoon.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Nice too.
Nick, what do you want to do?
I need to find leads.
All right. Recording is going to be stopped.
Okay.